Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series Spring European Edition. I'm Nathanius, joined by In Control, and I do know the name of the tournament that we're doing because I love my job. And with that being said, I also love winners. And guess what match this is, In Control?
The winners match?
You're damn right it is.
I guess correctly.
It's going to be a ZvZ, your favorite matchup if you're a European tuning in, because you get to see your boy, Serral, going up against Elazer. I think this should shape up to be the most action-packed series we've had so far in this group.
We've had some passive games, for sure. Serral able to capitalize on a little bit of aggression that first ZvZ, but we shall see. Elazer is looking better, obviously, and this is kind of that. This is that mountain. Serral is not. You don't say he looks beatable. That's not. We're still not there yet. He's
I'm not
lost to innovation. He's lost to Rainer. He's lost to the other best players in the world. You don't get to say he looks beatable yet. But if you can give a fight here, you're looking good.
Yeah, and this comes back to being just like a benchmark for Serral, where we look at him, and if our expectations are even remotely correct, should be a cakewalk for him. He should be able to take the 2-0. Maybe Elazer gets a punch or two in here, but plenty of people have been able to do that. But this is, we talked about it. He showed a bit of frustration after WCS winter. We saw a little bit of the Finnish rage almost. Seeing him, and you know, the cameras don't catch everything, Jeff, but I saw him walking out from the player area when it was over, and it was,
he looked angry?
It was an expression I've never seen on his face, actually.
Just any emotion at all?
Yeah, he looked livid. So.
Did you ask him how he felt? Because then we don't know.
Well, I did not want a javelin of ice through my chest.
So yo, Serral, how do you feel?
How does it feel to lose best player in the world? No.
And you start like laughing, and the whole room starts laughing. He runs out, I shall be back. You shall see.
Yeah, and then what? Pig blood, something like that. In the top left, we have the red Zerg player. He is Elazer.
From the land of pierogies, which are delicious.
Pierogies are solid.
I love them. We went to a nice pierogi place while we were there for Katowice, and it was so good.
The dream.
The top right-hand side, from Finland, it is the blue Zerg, Serral. I like that name, by the way. I don't know what Serral means. I assume it's like probably something in Finnish.
Yeah.
But it sounds like a name. You know what I mean? Like some people name themselves like octopus and spoon. And those are objects, and I get that. I know what that is. But Serral, I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Same with the laser. That kind of sounds like you're saying laser wrong. Yeah.
We were talking about, I think, I was talking about it with our wonderful makeup artist, Rosa. Just kind of reminds me of Dodgeball. A laser, blazer, taser, phaser, you know? Just kind of gives me that vibe.
Was that their names?
Yeah, that was like the name of his crew. Yeah.
The movie is actually really funny.
Yeah.
You dodge a ball, you dodge a wrench.
Dodgeritis.
I said that wrong.
Yeah, it's okay.
I say it's sterile and I like the taste all the time. That's one of my favorite lines because anyone that gets that is like instantly kindred spirit.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, no, just move right up the ranks.
All right. Well, this game is starting off fairly normal so far. And this is kind of funny. We've had a little bit of a trend where this is the starting map. And there is a veto system that these players opt for. And starting off that best of on a gigantic long map, get the macro games of flowing, seems to be kind of the comfort zone that a lot of these players are pushing for right now.
Yeah, a lot of players also becoming fans of it, hearing all the wonderful lore discussions they have on GSL with this map. That was my favorite.
What are some of the lore discussions?
Not knowing who Amon is and just kind of making general conjectures about him and his motivation.
Terrible what happens to him in the story, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you know.
Because I thought he was the good guy the whole time, is honestly how it played out for me.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You just want to bring balance to the universe.
And there's nothing wrong with that, if you really think about it.
I also thought it was weird that the story we went for with StarCraft was that at the end of the day, when you become a god figure, you turn into a giant space whale. And time and all that power just kind of corrupts you. Like, what? Why was he trying to just destroy stuff?
Yeah.
Like, at the end of that game, you sit back and go, I clearly understand his motives. Do you?
Yeah, it's like, no.
Do anyone understand it?
No.
And Kerrigan,
It's like a comic book supervillain. It's like, I want to destroy the Earth. It's like, why? It's like, I don't know. I just feel like it. I just feel like it.
Look at me. Don't I look like a guy that wants to do that? Awesome Sauce. Can you show Amon for the audience here? I want to take a look here.
Yeah. Imagine if someone told you could have all the power in the universe, but you turn into a giant space whale. Like, is that the fate that you want? I don't know.
Kerrigan took it, but she chose to then become Flame Kerrigan.
Yeah, she went like Super Saiyan.
Giant, though.
I think Raynor even makes a comment in the story about how he's like, you're going to turn into that thing. And then they're like, no, don't worry about that. That's not going to sell anything. So.
Which I appreciate, too, because that's them kind of covering that aspect of their relationship as well. He's like, I mean, I'll adapt, but 8 eyes, giant space whale body, it's hard for me to, you know, conceptualize. But that's also the loving character that's Jim Raynor, because he was like,
you need a really big house. You need a really big house to live in if you're a space whale.
It's your personality that I care about. The intimacy part of a relationship can be figured out later. And here's the thing, what I like with this line of joking, it's actually canon. So if if the producer's like,
not wrong.
Can't talk about that,
that's literally what happened.
What I have to talk about.
It's literally in the game.
These are the questions that get asked.
No, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing is always when the villain is just like, destroy everything for no real reason. Break the cycle. It's like, okay, well, to what end? Good times. Both players are literally doing everything exactly the same.
Zombie Girl's correcting us on Twitter.
We've got the +1 perfectly lined up, the Overlord speed perfectly lined up, the layers perfectly lined up with the road speed upgrade. Everything pretty much completely in sync. 61 drones on both sides. And
balanced like everything should be.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no. If you took half the mini-map and just flipped it over and copied it, that would be what we have right now. Except they took different locations for the 4th base. That's the only thing at this point.
Thank you, Nate.
That's my expert analysis, because obviously none of you can tell that for yourselves.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here, to tell you which 4th base they take.
So, Zombie Grub on Twitter says that the reason Amon looks like that is because the God process, or like the species that went through the process before this look like that. But I think that's a dangerous line of thought.
So space whales were somehow picked to become gods?
Yeah.
So he was just a normal space whale chilling, and then they're like, have god powers?
Yeah, I guess so.
Nice.
I just feel, you know, if I was looking for the god species and ended up finding that, I'd be like, well, I guess that's disappointing.
I mean, he could kind of shapeshift, though, right? Like, he presents himself as Tassadar in the campaign to mess with you.
And he turns into Duran Duran. I mean, Narud.
Yep. Technically, he was hanging around with you since Brood War, right?
Mm-hmm. He makes an appearance at the end of the Brood War campaign, talking about a hybrid species, and then you wait 15 years to get the conclusion of that. Which, you know what, to be fair, that's about how long I'll end up waiting for the final books of the Song of Ice and Fire series, so I guess I'm used to it now.
Yep.
Good things come to those who wait, Nate.
Yes, indeed they do. Both players, great map vision, lots of forces running around. Plenty of roaches on both sides. Upgrades still pretty much completely in tandem. I'm trying to find some differences here. Okay, so the Infestation Pit is about to finish up for Serral, so perhaps he's going to lean into some of that later tech. We do have a Hydralisk Den done for Elazer, so he can do a Roach Hydra thing if he wants, but he's going to have to wait for some upgrades. And the Hive is starting up for Serral, so he's making that first big jump away from what both have been sticking to thus far.
And here's that multi-pronged fight. On the southern part of the map, we have a little bit of a skirmish here as well, but that is not where the 5th base is, so because it doesn't exist, I guess. Not much to be done there. And on the other side of the map, there is also, well, no, it's an Overlord being chased by a single Hydra. Never mind. Look away, please. That is a terrible battle.
Not the most exciting thing going down.
But once again, Elazer this time, not Nurchio, looking at Serral and saying, I'm going to take this to the late game. And that's interesting to me. I don't think of Serral as a weakness. I mean, I know a lot of that's this map, right? That's where this happened. In fact, I would say 95% of it. Again, no skirmish here happening. As on the lower part of the map, it's Serral getting the worst end. And on the north part of the map, it's Serral getting the better end. Both players just kind of evenly trading. Perfectly balanced, like Nate pointed out.
Yep, as all things should be. A Baneling's going to run into roaches and do absolutely nothing as Serral starts to pick away at some of the economy in that southwest base. So pushing him up as well. You're talking about this. His big army doing very well. He's got a lot more Ravagers than a Elazer does in these little fights. And outside of the Corrosive Bile, the Ravager just has 6 range. So he can shoot over the roaches. He can get extra damage in without having to be as up close and personal with the enemy. And of course, you can use those Biles to not only push an attack, but to retreat and cover your tracks as well. And the Hive is done. So he's getting his +3 attack. The Hive has only just started now for a Elazer.
Yeah.
I don't think he has any other tech related to that Hive. No Hydra Den. Okay, no, he has the Hydra Den. Waiting for the Lurker Den then. So you can't get like the Drilling Claws upgrade for the Lurkers just yet. Or Adaptive Talons.
Quite late on the Hive, actually, because as you pointed out, the Infestation Pit had finished for quite some time. He was not using it, so a little bit of a snafu. It will be a Elazer going for the Tunneling Claws first, though, which is kind of the signature Serral move.
Interesting.
So interesting.
Yeah. I'm quite surprised by that, actually, that he's going to end up being behind on Lurkers just by having this Hive so quickly.
Would you say you're shocked?
Yes.
Okay.
Stunned. I'm flabbergasted. He didn't even build a Viper. Like, what was the Hive for? Just +3 attack? He's crazy. He just wants upgrades? The madman.
Well, I think part of him saying that for right now, Vipers don't make a whole lot of sense because you just be abducting like Ravagers, which is okay, of course, but maybe doesn't justify the cost of Vipers.
I still wouldn't hate Blinding Cloud, but
it's okay. But when Lurkers come out, I would just guess that Serral's saying right now it's better to be maxed out on Roach, Hydra, Ravager.
That's fair.
And then get the Vipers out for the Lurkers.
Whatever Serral's doing, I trust.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm just like a feeble human mind. I don't understand what goes on inside the brain of a space whale, you know what I mean?
No.
So, like,
how could you?
I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying my weak, feeble, mortal conscious cannot comprehend that which has been presented in front of it.
You'd have to be a psychic human that was cocooned into a Zerg woman, then made into a flaming god lady to understand any of that.
Exactly. I haven't had my latent flame god lady persona activated. So
think about Kerrigan's transformation, by the way. She goes from human to Psyker, Psyker to Zerg, Zerg to God. Do you ever think she just sits back and is like, can I just relax?
Can you just chill? Well, that's what, I mean, who knows what she's doing now, right? In the post-epilogue.
Well, Raynor, I assume.
Yeah, well, outside of that, how much, is there some chilling? Hopefully.
Yeah. Or was it all a dream?
And she's not, she's not even really there at the end, actually, when you see Raynor.
Yep.
So
it's all just a.
Some people just think that ends with the end of him waking up at the start of a cutscene that begins Wings of Liberty.
But again, in a tavern. So, like, what point do we say Raynor might have a problem?
Well, I think we already knew that.
Yeah. But nobody wants to say it though. A lot of fighting happening here. They're both maxed out and still banking, so it feels like a lot of this is jockeying for position. Lurkers are starting to show up here for Elazer. He's going to get a good concave there. But on the other side of the map, Serral is the one pushing towards an expansion as well with an army.
Yeah, I like this concave that he's got. Good spread. The Lurker's still able to pack quite a punch to get through this.
But there's not a lot of them.
But yeah, and that's where the concave becomes useful, right? Because just having the 1 or 2 staggered like this is going to be a lot less effective than having like 6 Lurkers in one spot. Get used to the burrow, repositioning for Serral.
It's way up in supply, and here's the thing. These roaches, maybe they get chased down as they split up, but it's going to take the entire army to run them back. And in the meantime, that Lurker tech that seemed to be some kind of edge for Elazer, it's being mitigated. So the Lurker Den is finishing for Mr. Serral. I presume he'll get some Vipers out here fairly soon. Definitely has the money for it.
Yep.
And upgrades squarely in favor of Serral for now, but actually equalizing and even tilting in favor by seconds for Elazer.
Yeah.
Once that finishes.
Having that +3 as early as he did, attack-wise, was definitely like a really big boost. But I feel like he needed to kind of get the tech equalized to really make the most of it. Now, 9 Lurkers starting up. That's what we're looking for. Should start his Adaptive Talons upgrade very soon as well. Extremely important. Elazer already has that upgrade. That's the one that basically makes the Lurker burrow instantly.
Yeah.
It is very, very good.
Not today. says Elazer. So good job by Elazer, by the way. We've been talking a lot about, of course, Serral being favored in this and being very strong, but Elazer's holding his own. He is down a base. I think that's going to be kind of the most scary statistic here for him. So far, the banks are very similar, and their worker count is similar. But if that other base is left to mine for longer and the chaos just kind of keeps happening in the middle of the map, it's going to be very good for Serral.
Yeah, taking a little bit of a fight at this ramp. Dealing with the Overseer, kind of poking around for vision, trying to land those biles and getting a good chase. But this army looks like it's about to get surrounded in control.
But does it win some space? Where's the lurkers of Serral? That's the big question for me. Because if these get pulled all the way up into the natural, exactly. So they're going to head over to the 4th base. And once the thing about lurkers is if you fight them mid-map, yes, they're tough to obviously straight up fight, but you slow them down. It's when they get to a base and plant that base becomes either A, very expensive to save, or B, you just kind of have to surrender it. Now, that being said, Serral gets a little bit of cold feet and doesn't actually commit to it. Pulls back here.
Yeah, looks like Elazer's vision that he had over there made him feel like he couldn't get it done. And mind you, he has not actually started the faster burrow upgrade for his lurkers.
Yeah.
So that is going to make it very difficult to reposition.
Hold the phone there, bud. You cannot fight into 9 lurkers. Not ever. It is Vipers coming out for Serral, by the way. So this base does get dislodged inexpensively by Serral. But with those Vipers coming out, he'll be able to abduct the smaller amount of lurkers of Elazer. And then I begin to say, this guy can do it all, Nate. He can do it all.
Yep, those abducts going to be really big.
Gimme, gimme.
1, 2, thank you.
Going for the 3rd. Must be nice to have those options.
Yeah, Vipers are so big in these battles.
Yeah.
So very important.
That's why 5 are about to pop out here for Mr. Elazer.
Okay, gets that lurker too. So there you go. So like 5 lurkers killed in the last minute just with these Viper support. Really big. Still has a few lurkers remaining, but I mean, when you start to cull that number, it gets really big. Still surprised that he hasn't started Adaptive Talons. I wonder if he's...
Forgotten?
Yeah, it feels like a thing that you forget. I don't know that there's a world where anybody would ever intentionally not get it.
No.
It's like the old days when people are like, why don't people get Marauder slow? It's like, no, you just forget. So it's like one of those things that you don't think about it.
Yeah, you always get it. No, he actually very clearly forgot. He's got the money. He's sitting at max, and there is no actual argument for not getting it. We're not gonna get by Lambo here in a second or something like that. Where you're like, no, you don't do it in this situation. Like, get out of here.
I'm only saying it because I feel like if he loses this game, it's the type of thing I would contribute as like a huge factor. It's just the engagement potential is very limited because of how useful it is to be able to reposition instantly.
Another good fight for Serral there. A rare occurrence of no detection. So he's able to just run up those lurkers and plant them. And I'm loving again, no army is total. It's just like little pockets of fighting because this map has so many entry points, and controlling those chokes is a big deal. So Elazer holding his own. He is behind in supply, and he's down in workers. So the numbers are starting to kind of get worse for him. I'm saying he's holding his own, but he's just about a couple of bad fights or some sloppy Vipers away from this game spinning out of control. Yep.
He's got to be very cautious. His advantage here is that his lurkers can move around a little bit faster, but both players have tons of Vipers. His Vipers all appear to be 200 energy, so 2 abducts per. I don't think that Serral maxed the energy on all of his, unless he's doing it right this very second.
Little fight in the southern part of the map over that tower. Interesting.
Little no man's land between the lurker lines.
Oh, no!
Great
3
abducts!
Of them. 4 of them, actually.
Oh!
5.
Well,
ow. So expensive, by the way. I mean, it's like, not only obviously do they represent a lot of power in the fight, they're quite gas heavy. They're not the most expensive units, but yeah, exactly as Nate just said. That's all the gas that Elazer basically had, just remaking him. So a big win there for Serral.
And Serral's bank, too. Even if he takes a fight that's not so great, he's got enough money to replace a lot of his army, whereas Elazer does not. He's still trying to get his economy going again, still building drones.
A little bit sloppy there as he kind of leaves a single lurker. Lurkers are definitely one of those units that in strength are a completely different animal, right? Like 1 or 2 lurkers, obviously if you have no detection, that's still pretty great. But assuming you do have detection, they're just not that good at all. But you put like 5 down and it takes an entire army to fight them, and even then the damage they put out basically equalizes the trade. Yeah,
and if you have anything that slows down the diving on top of those lurkers, then 5 lurker AoE will give you a very, 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 very painful headache. Roaches sneak into the top left expansion, grab a couple drones, burrow, move away, and he's going to leave one there to keep attacking while another army's going to move through with these lurkers in the bottom left.
Everything he does, it's one of my favorite parts about Serral, is like all the small choices, literally leaving the one roach behind. It seems like, yeah, of course you would, right? But there's a lot of people that don't. They take everything, they're like, all right, you burrowed, I'm out of here. That one buys more missed mining time, which obviously justifies the cost of its sacrifice. And then it wins space. So these guys are in the natural. Probably should have focused down on that infestation pit. Not the biggest of deals that he didn't, but Serral, you need to help me out. I was just complimenting you on your small choices. Then you do that. Come on.
He's like, well, I'm not. We're going against some festers anyway, or storm hosts. So.
Yeah. This might be a game-winning move here, though. This base is pretty important. A lot of lurkers are dying, and actually Serral is not going to commit fully, but he's got an army moving just below this as well that should have free positioning. It's actually looking to go ahead and get a surround here, and that's exactly what it'll do. But there's lurkers.
Gets a great couple pickoffs on those Vipers. These guys come in from the south side. He's got a good spread, good arc. Blinding Cloud on top of the lurkers. 2 of them that are burrowed are not going to be able to do anything on that west side. And there's the Corrosive Bile between 2 to smack him down. 3 lurkers die. There's only 2 left to defend here for Elazer, and they are not going to be enough. The rest of the Hydras will come up. So he's going to retreat. He's going to respect that army.
But, I mean, this is the biggest thing. 6 Hydras are being made, and he's out of gas. He's at 115 supply. He's made 6 Hydras, 5 Roaches. He cannot make lurkers. He cannot make Vipers. He did not have the bank for this. Meanwhile, Serral's maxed out with 4,000 and 1,000 gas. This should be it. Elazer got outspent, outpositioned, and is now dead.
GG. Yeah, you're saying he's building 6 Hydras at that fight. Serral was building 26. So, ouch.
Sometimes the game mimics real life where you're like, I'm going to go to battle with Amazon. And Amazon's like, we have 5,000 lawyers. You're like, I've got 2 really good ones. You're like, well, they better be really good.
Those Hydras have 11 upgrades. Like, I don't know what your plan here is, bud. But great game by Serral. And once again, we see it kind of dragged out a little bit longer. I do think that that is something that happens a lot on Year Zero. I mean,
yes,
the map really lends itself to that. Would not be surprised, especially from these 2 players, to see something a little bit more aggressive based on where we go next. And, yeah, but Serral looking very sharp. I mean, we joke about it, but both players did basically the same thing all the way up until Serral said, I want to get a fast +3 attack. And Elazer just said, I'm going to get the lurkers a little bit faster than you. So that didn't end up hurting Serral. He never even got adaptive talons for his lurkers. He was just really focusing on the Viper play.
Yeah.
Which seemed to be the best thing, because he abducted all the Vipers in like 2 engagements against Elazer, and he had no gas for anything. Like, he just lost everything so many times. Played great position, great blinding clouds. And then even in this fight, when he eventually had to take it, he got a really good flank. But he gets rid of the Vipers. He removes all of them from the field. And it's just like, well, what are you going to do?
And it was just too costly. Like, the fight was actually okay for Elazer. He loses it, so when I say okay, obviously it's not. But I just meant that he was mostly holding his own over there, but it's just Serral that's able to afford that gigantic flank that comes in expensively, right? It goes into, it was like 5 lurkers, but he can just afford to take that kind of a fight and win strong enough that it's too much.
29 Hydras there in the production tab. Disgusting. Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Disgusts me that you can build units when you have lots of money and bases, Jeff. That doesn't make any sense.
Makes all the sense, actually.
It does. It does. That's my
StarCraft is so beautifully binary, just like so many, just like it's actual numbers. Everything's a click. Everything's a decision. Yeah. I love when someone uses like the word like fairness and like, you don't deserve. It's like, literally.
That Zerg player pulled himself up by his carapace straps and found his way into a large amount of minerals and gas and used it to win. All right, don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, we're underway. The next map will be Automaton. Or, as some of our European broadcasters, Automaton.
Automaton.
Which, you know, it's fair. I mispronounce a ton of stuff, so it's nice. It's nice when our Roddies and some of these guys get in there and they're like, Automaton. And I'm like, what'd you say?
Automaton.
You drive an automobile? I love these guys.
They're the best. The best of the best. Just a shame We haven't we haven't had an opportunity to get our boats out yet today, Jeff.
Yeah, that meme, I don't know.
That's all I'm waiting for. Yeah, let's beat that one to death.
People love their memes.
Yeah, maybe a little too much sometimes. On the right side of the map, here on Automaton, we have the red Zerg player. He is Elazer. Bzz, bzz. My laser sound.
Oh, nice. And his opponent in the lower-ish left-hand side, it's the Blue Zerg from Team Ents and Finland, Serral. Probably a big fan of saunas.
Why would you say that?
That's the Finnish thing, man.
Saunas?
Yep.
Cool.
I don't know why, but it is. Idra once went over there for a tournament, and they were like, they really sold him on saunas. And if you do sauna correctly, it's supposed to be a bit of an endurance battle. You're like, how much steam and heat can you withstand?
Right.
Which I don't know.
Well, you're like trying to like purge yourself, basically, right? So it's a matter of how much can you handle to.
It's supposed to be pretty healthy. Yeah, not if you do it like too much, obviously, but cleans out the pores.
Well, you don't want to become too pure, right? And then you turn into a space whale, and everything just kind of goes downhill from there.
Yeah. Well, they're not pure though.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
They're pretty dirty.
So far, I keep looking for differences, but it's ZvZ. It's early game ZvZ. So Serral has looked really good today, and I don't think any of us are really surprised by that. He is the player. Well, I guess I can't say he's the player to watch anymore, because a lot of people have their eyes on Raynor. A lot of people are looking for the weakness in Serral these days. He doesn't come in as quite the unstoppable, but you still expect him to beat pretty much everybody other than one of those top players?
I don't know, man. It's a funny thing. Like he's not the unbeatable force that he was last year. But even then, I think back to the final WCS stop where Raynor takes him to Game 7. I think of BlizzCon where there was obviously moments of supreme dominance, but there was also some pretty close series and some dropped maps all throughout. It's so hard in StarCraft, and that's why I think truly in StarCraft 2 we haven't had an actual Bonjwa, or I mean, I think the closest we came to that was Serral in 2018, but for the most part, everyone's watching your replays, everyone's watching your games,
right?
And this game is very difficult, but it's not Brood War, so you can, as if you're one of these top tier players, you can emulate and you can counter. It's so hard. It's incredible that Serral still is in what, the top 2 or 3, or top 2 is what you'd probably say of the entire scene.
Yep, and everybody constantly overhypes this mythical battle between Serral and Maru.
I think people just want it to happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Pam and Jim in The Office. It's like, just get it over with. And then, and you know what happened in The Office, too, is once they did get together, the show kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's not the case here. I think we're missing sounds.
Could Maru and Serral, could that match live up to the hype that it has been hyped up to by this point? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
It would have to really be something for it to be worth how much people have been begging for it for so long.
I'd want it to be a prepared match, too, because the other thing is like they
not
meet
in the weekend
at some
tournament.
late round of a weekend tournament. That's not really it.
Especially because, and this would be like the excuse people would make, be like, well, Maru only knows how to play in prepared tournaments. It's not fair if he loses there.
I want Serral and I want Raynor over in GSL. Raynor said he wants to go over there. So I think he will, but Serral, and I actually respect Serral too for his answer, because I want selfishly to cheer for him in Korea, but he's been like, I don't think it's necessary. It's like, fair enough, man.
With the amount of money that he made, it's like what's the motivation if he can't be happy with the rest of his life, right?
The trophy, that's where I go back to that. He was saying that he's missing some trophies, and if that truly is what's important to him, I cannot think of a trophy that you would miss more than, after BlizzCon, of course,
that's
the
fair.
GSL trophy.
Okay, that's fair. You know, you're right. With the answer that he gave there, then that makes a lot more sense.
Because he was saying he was missing the WSG and the Katowice trophy, which I think was him saying, I'm missing the $150,000 they give you when you win those things. Because if the trophy is truly the goal, then the GSL trophy is the most sought-after one after BlizzCon.
That's very fair.
By the way, back in the day, if you won BlizzCon, they used to give you Frostmourne. I miss those days.
What's Frostmourne?
Are you serious? It's the sword of the Death Knight.
Oh,
Warcraft lore.
cool. I'm a Diablo.
I'm blanking
I'm
on
a
his
Diablo.
name.
I'm a Diablo StarCraft guy. I could not tell you anything about I could not tell you anything about Warcraft other than things I have learned from Hearthstone, which are mostly memes.
That's okay. You're gonna have to solo cast the rest of this though, because I just forgot the name of the guy, and I'm dying.
Arthas?
Such a Arthas, I think, yeah. But he's not the Death Knight. He's the Lich King, right? Lich King. That's what it is. I think.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, Warcraft people. I did not play World of Warcraft or Warcraft really. Warcraft 2 though. Tides of Darkness. Great game. Played the crap out of that.
Nice. We have a double Noidus.
Oh my God, they're nidusing each other. That's beautiful.
You're
I
about to
hope
witness.
each army shows up to an empty base and they're both like, "What a nerd! you didn't see it coming." 20 roaches in production for Serral. How does that even happen at minute 6 here?
I don't know. This game's about to get funky. I am so down with that. All right. Well, this is going to be the big thing, as both players are going to Nidus each other.
Yeah.
With the way those
slightly faster.
with where those Banelings are for Elazer, I'm like, you put the Banelings into the Nidus first, kill anything that you would surround, I guess. But
that's not even
Serral's
spotted.
Nidus is already, yeah, he's already
Elazer
tunneling.
doesn't have vision over there. Like, he can do it outside of the base if he wants. So his is basically going to be dead weight in a moment, I believe. His army's just out of position.
Yep. And he starts another Nidus at the front, too, because he knows he's going to pull everything over to the main. And that means he can kill the third base as soon as the rest of those forces show
Oh
up.
my God. But he's actually getting there too fast is the funny thing. He's actually fighting the main army. Which actually maybe is good because he's got a good concave here. Yeah, it is fantastic. Okay, this game's just actually over.
Wow. Beautiful.
Okay.
Serral finds a way. Nice. Nicely done. A lot of work done. A lot of drones killed inside of that main.
Oh, they travel so fast. He goes into one Nidus and he shows up immediately in the main with a perfect concave.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
And Elazer's just rushing over there to defend, but by rushing, he's actually out of position.
Yeah.
And he's not killing the creep tumor as far as I can tell, or he did maybe? Either way, another one's being made.
Yep. And he's just going to keep bringing out those Nidus worms, just going to bounce back and forth. And now, once he, I mean, I guess he could probably just kill the whole army here.
Yeah.
If he wanted to.
Wait.
Just go into the worm. He's like,
Serral, why?
peace, brah.
I mean, I get it, but why? He was going to win that fight.
Yeah,
He's like, I'll just go win this other fight over here.
Serral's like, well, if I want to ascend into a space whale, I'm going to need to make some, higher IQ plays. More repositioning.
Well, too many drones have died. Even if Elazer somehow wins this fight, which he won't. There it is.
GG.
Called out. And Serral, 2-0-2-0, 4-0s the group as is predicted, and we'll move on to the next round.
And the world continues to spin as we somewhat expect it to.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I expect it to. As a
Well
flat disc like that, it's tough for it to spin, but it does.
Yeah. Well, I heard it's on top of like one of those straw things or whatever
Yeah.
that they do. So congratulations to Serral, making it out of the group in first place. And that means that Elazer will be knocked down to have a cheeky little rematch in control of our first series of the day to decide
It is
the
not.
second player getting
It's
out
not a
of here.
rematch at all.
No, you're totally
This is
right.
the first time these two guys have played, but they're both Polish.
I've
One is
blanked.
the old household name, and the other is the newish. Even he is being challenged by Lambo, who's German, which is who would challenge a Polish Zerg player like that.
Yes.
It's going to be good.
Oh, it's going to be great. So we've got that coming up. A ZvZ to wrap up the Challenger side, or the European side of our Challenger broadcast today. It's going to be Nurchio versus Elazer coming up next.